Hello, thank you so much for coming today. We met actually at a very interesting party about how to say, like, kind of networking luxury
Yeah.
party, and I was fascinated by what you do, and I prefer to let you introduce yourself.
Sure. Yes. Hi, my name is Dr. Mohen Soofian. I work at the Hortman Clinic. I'm a family medicine physician by training, but I focus on wellness, men's health, and biooptimization and performance enhancement for high performers like CEOs, VIPs. So we do all we can to optimize our patients for a long, healthy, and successful life.
So is interesting is the kind of services you have is definitely not the cheapest about the health business in general. As we said while we were preparing the show, I'm French, and for me, you don't pay for health.
Right.
It's just something in my culture. So the first time I moved abroad, I was so shocked to think that health is an industry, health is a business, like so many else. And especially in your industry, you deal most of the time you deal with people with money, let's be honest, because what you do is not to heal people already sick, it's you anticipate most of the time. So my first question would be, what are the most common health concerns that your specific wealthy clients could have? Is it about like weighting loss? Is it about aging well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a lot of we do quite a bit of weight loss, with the medications that are out on the market, which everyone knows. They come in the pens. You give yourself a shot once a week, helps them lose weight. We do also hormone replacement. So as men and women get older, women after menopause, their hormones or estrogen drops 99%. After menopause, men, men after every year, their testosterone drops like 1.4%. Over time, they will lose over the decades a lot of their testosterone production. That's just part of the aging process. But they have all the symptoms: low energy, moody. They're losing muscle. They're gaining weight in the center. Low stamina, and of course low libido. So once we give the guys testosterone, boom, their life overnight changes.
So basically it's dealing with, let's say, non-serious problem, you know what I mean? It's just like not fixing something right now, it's more like anticipating and aging better.
Yeah. Well, this is prevention, because if I can keep this guy healthy for 20, 30 years and keep him active, then we're avoiding, a person who's now sedentary, is sitting on the couch, he's not exercising, he's not, keeping his body in check, and then he's going to develop diabetes, he's going to get sarcopenia, which is loss of muscle. He's at more risk for dying. If you're not active, you're much more likely just to die overall. Your body's less resilient. You have much higher rates of cancer. So we're preventing all that by intervening early. So like I said, we're changing completely the trajectory of his life, or of my patient's life.
It's very interesting because I think, well, we'll talk about that later, but I think preventing, as you said, it's something very specific to wealthy clients. Like when you don't have money or less money, you're gonna focus on fixing the problem you have now and not particularly thinking about the future. Like you're gonna you're gonna do sport or like trying not to drink, smoke, all these things, but like going deeper in the process by paying for someone who is going to help you preventing things. It's definitely something from wealthy clients mainly. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think this is just human nature. We all take advantage of take our health for granted. We think, oh, I'm healthy, I'll be fine. And then you have even the wealthy clients. They will go spend $5,000 on a Gucci purse or Louis Vuitton. But when we tell them, hey, let's invest in your health, sometimes, I'm okay, I don't need to do that. Oh, I don't feel it's necessary, or oh, it's too much. Sometimes they'll say that, but they'll gladly go to Louis Vuitton. They'll gladly give the cash in hand. Give me the bag. Give me the purse. So it's just a change change in priorities and value. They see the obvious value of a bag, and that's subjective, of a bag. But of course, we all know our health is the most important thing. There's a saying that says, "A healthy man has 1,000 wishes. A sick man has just one wish."
Yeah, true. Oh my goodness, this is so true. So a question coming from your answer: what is the typical profile of your clients?
Typical profile, I would say late 30s, maybe 40s, successful businessman or professional, but they feel that something is missing. They feel like their performance has decreased, has declined, whether it's mental performance, physical performance, or they feel that they, as we say in the men's health field, they've lost the zest for life, or that they've lost the joie de vivre. I think that's what the French say. So they feel something is missing, and they've been reading online. Oh, I've heard about TRT. I have a friend who's tried TRT. I want to see if it's right for me. And I would say 95% of the men who come in to be evaluated for low test, once we put them through the screeners, they have all the symptoms of low testosterone. And we check their blood values. Many times they're very low in their testosterone, and once we treat them, probably within 24 hours, I get messages from my patients saying that I feel so much better on treatment.
So what's interesting for me, like talking to entrepreneurs right now, is like all of them are about performance, like a better version of yourself. And as an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, I think it's a kind of race of always being better, always a better version of yourself, always being more performant, which can be a trap because you always think you can do better.
Do more,
And like, do you have sometimes wealthy clients are used to have the answer they want when they pay for it? And it's the big point of this entire interview that I'm fascinated by is when you deal with these people used to have what they want when they want just because they pay. And they have unexpected, like crazy expectations. How do you deal with that? Saying like, okay, you paid, but health, it's something you cannot buy, basically. So how to deal with these people used to have it?
Yeah. So I tell them, look, you're here to get a physician's advice, and I know you want this, or you want to, you want to get X from this time that you're here with us. I explained that my medical judgment is this, which may be contrary to what your expectations is, or that you had something else in mind. But I'm here to be your medical advocate, your health advocate. And sometimes you may not like what I have to say, but I have to keep you. I have to be honest with you and tell you that this is what my best medical judgment says as the way forward. And usually, if you can explain it to them, they'll understand. And then sometimes you just have to have some, hard rules, like, hey, if you're coming in for treatment and you're not coming in every month, it's not going to be possible to get your prescription. I have to see you. We have to evaluate you. We have to assess you, make sure everything's safe, and get your prescription. This is not just pay to play. Or you can just force my hand. So, but typically that's usually most of our patients are pretty well educated. They understand, and they're very respectful of the profession and of the services we offer. They just want to be taken care of, and I think that's our biggest strength at the Hortman Clinic is that we focus on the customer experience and taking care of the client. So it's not just you're going to any clinic. Okay, well, the doctor will see you, today, and then he'll see you again in 2 months. No, we keep in touch with them. We regularly follow up with them. We communicate with them. We call them. If they need anything, hey, I'm not feeling well, come to the office. Come right now. We have an appointment for you. Let's take care of you. So they feel really
client experience is definitely a big point.
100%, yeah.
Specifically because it's wealthy clients, or it would be like in general your way of working.
That is just the way I work too. too, but I'm very fortunate to be working at the Hortman Clinic. The management of Hortman Clinic, some of them have worked in some of the biggest corporations, luxury corporations, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada. So they bring that customer service experience to the healthcare field, which in the past, healthcare has not been considered a luxury. They just think it's a very sterile environment with white walls and kind of nerdy doctors that are very, very clinical and not very warm-hearted. But we believe that there is a better way, so we want to bring that to the UAE and take care of patients to the best of our ability.
Would you agree to say that you can have this client experience because you can have time, and you can have time because you're expensive, and it doesn't work the other way around? Like if you don't have a certain rate, you have to have more clients, and then you won't have the time to take care of each of them, and then the client's experience cannot be the same.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, you have it in I'm from the United States, where you go in for a visit and it's like $50, $40, and you're in there for like 10 minutes. The doctor doesn't even know your name; he barely knows you, and he's in there for 10 minutes. What's your problem? And you're under stress. You maybe mention one thing, you don't have the whole picture, and then boom, you're gone, and you don't feel taken care of. So here, regularly, a new patient, I spend minimum 1-2 hours with them the first time they're there. Just about 2 weeks ago, I had a patient come in. He came in at 3:00. He left at 7:30 because we were talking about everything. Make sure he had a lot of problems going on in his life, professional and personal life. So we wanted to really make sure to take care of him and build that relationship. Of course, we put the patient first. When you put the patient first and everything revolves around the patient will see that. And they'll feel taken care of, and they feel that trust. Because a lot of times patients, when they come to us, they have had bad experiences in healthcare. This is not like any other field. This is not like, I went to a clothing store and I had a bad experience. I went to a McDonald's and I had a bad experience. I went to a restaurant and I had a bad experience. No, this is your health. If you have a bad experience with your health, you may lose faith in the healthcare system, in your providers, in your doctors or nurses. And then you may neglect to go to them and be like, I'll just take care of it myself. And of course, you're not a professional. You don't know, you don't have the medical training, the medical expertise to accurately assess, judge, and treat. So we want to re-engineer and revamp how we approach patients and the patient experience.
There is actually two things coming out of what you just said. First is flexibility as a price. So basically, if you have the luxury to keep someone from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., it's because you are flexible. Yeah. Because of like the kind of prices you can have in your industry and in your business. The second point would be about the bad experience they could have with you would have an impact on the way they feel about the entire industry, but it works for all our businesses. Like in my industry, for example, if someone has a bad experience during their wedding, they're going to say all of them, they try to take your money, it's just a business and all these things. But comparing to others who have an amazing experience with all their suppliers, they're going to say like, oh my God, I've been surrounded by amazing people. They love their job so much. It was a pleasure. So I think we also have to think about that the impact we can have on our own business image. And it's something we are so selfish sometimes and we don't think about it. Someone told me once, don't think about what your industry can do for you, but think about what you can do for your industry.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is completely true.
And my patients, your clients will see that. They can identify. They may not be an expert in that field, but they can say, hey, this guy loves what he does. This guy's passionate and he's good.
Because it exists.
Yeah. And the service he's offering me or the product he's delivering to me has vastly improved my life or has been above and beyond my expectation. And they can easily see that, look, I can't get this anywhere else.
And it can shine basically on the entire industry. Like people loving their job, it does exist. So it's possible. I'm very curious to know if you think this specific wealthy client are more value more all the holistic this new age kind of medicine, if I can say. Do you feel this thing?
Yes. They're always looking for, they don't want to be confined to, the standard quo. They want to know, they're usually, you know, educated, they read, anything interesting in the, you know, longevity space or wellness space, they've probably heard about, and they want to say, you know, I want that too. I want to live longer. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to be more successful. I want to make more money. You know, if you have more energy and you're mentally sharp, you are going to be able to take on more challenges and have more endurance and make more money. So this is something that they're hungry for.
This is interesting, as like in every industry, every entrepreneurs, we take care of our machine, of my camera, for example, of like all the material we are used to use to be performant. But we usually don't take care of ourselves. And we are the first tool, actually. Like if we have a problem, our business has a problem. This is why I do, and I guess you too, but a lot of sport, trying to eat healthy, not smoking. Well, I'm French, so drinking is not a part of it. But, you know, these things, just to think like myself, my body is my first tool. Yeah. And sometimes we work like crazy. We don't sleep. We take a lot of coffee because we want to be performant, but maybe it's actually the worst way to be performant. So just to anticipate the things and to understand that our body is the first tool.
Yeah, 100%. And again, we take it for granted. We think we're going to be young and healthy. Oh, I'm fine. I don't do this. I don't do that. And then boom, the years go by.
And then you get 40.
and then so like, yes, if you mistreat or abuse your body in your 20s, you can probably get away with it. But as we get older, the costs and the risks become higher.
Definitely.
So
we can feel it. I think when we work a lot, I feel it. But sometimes I have like a marathon of readings, or like this currently month, I have my entire season during 1 month.
Wow.
And it's exhausting. And when I started my business like more than 12 years ago, it was completely okay. You know, I was like, oh, what's next? Can't wait a coffee and let's go. And now I need like a week to recover.
Sure.
So if you don't take care of all these things and just admit it, I think it can be dramatic, definitely. So it's just, as you said, a certain age, you realize maybe that more than when you are 20. And then you, oh my goodness, now it's going to be like, I'm in the bad, not in the bad, but it's not going to get better, basically. So it's just about trying to make it the smoothest as possible.
Right.
Just to anticipate. And just, as we said with a friend of mine lately, 10 years ago, I went to the gym to look fit, and now I go to the gym to age better, basically, just trying to save the things as much as possible. So it's just your goals are going to change, and the way you behave and anticipate the future is definitely going to change.
Yes, absolutely.
So something very interesting, I love that so much, the client experience. It's so important for me. And it's interesting to compare how we behave and the kind of client experience we need to have with wealthy clients compared to more like standard population. And the thing is, like in your industry, how do you approach personalization? Like we talked about knowing their names, but I think it's something very like standard. We all need to know our client's name. Do you have anything specific you would do to have something more personalized?
I think the biggest thing is we're very accessible to our patients. That they can reach out to the clinic and be like, look, I want to talk to the doctor. Boom, we can call them and communicate with them. We do video calls, telehealth. We do home visits, so we can visit them in the home. I've had also when I have to refer a patient, so we had to send a patient to urology and cardiology because he had some kidney stones and an abnormality on his heart. Because his English wasn't the best, I decided, you know what, I'm going to come with him. So I came for his cardiologist visit and urology visit that day. And of course, we wanted to be our patient advocate because, he has me as his doctor. I know him well. These new doctors don't. They're going to have to start all over, get the history. I said, look, let me help you out. I gave all the information to the physician. We had all the imaging. We had some CTs, MRIs. I had it already printed out for the urologist and cardiologist, and they were easily able to assess. We had a high level medical discussion with the specialists, and we easily came to a conclusion that the patient is fine and there's no need for anything else. But of course, if I wasn't there, he would have to, because his English wasn't the best, he would have to, somehow either have a friend who's fluent native English speaker, or someone else that can help him, or he would have to struggle trying to explain to the doctor. And of course, as we know, with language barriers, there's going to be miscommunication, loss of information, loss in translation, and things could be missed entirely. So it was best that I was there, and I don't think anyone else does that for their patients in this
My
area.
biggest question while listening to you is, do you think it's something very specific to the health industry, or something we can use in every business, basically, to be flexible, to have time, and as long as your rates are high enough to be low, to can afford that,
Of course.
just to be like definitely more flexible and more like they can contact whenever they want, and to have this luxury.
Yeah, back in the U.S., I was seeing 20, 30 patients a day. You don't have time. You don't have time to. There's no way I would have to be able to take 4 hours out of my day that day. That's probably like 15 patients to go see a specialist with the patient. It's just not possible. So yes, of course, we because we're providing a level of service unheard of in the GCC, unheard of in the UAE, we are able to provide that extra level of service that really makes the client experience, perfect for them.
So basically what they buy from you is your expertise, but it's also your time, flexibility,
availability,
and the contact they can have very quickly and when they need.
100%. All the time I have my patients, they reach out to me saying, hey, look, I'm sick. What can I do? I'm like, look, no problem. I got you. Hey, we want to get some vitamin C, vitamin D, get some electrolytes, start mixing them together. So we are able to intervene, as opposed to, okay, I'm sick now. Where do I go? I need to make an appointment with my doctor. In 2 weeks. And by then you're suffering throughout this time. If you go to the hospital, because you're probably going to get worse, they're going to probably put you on antibiotics. And we all know majority of colds or upper respiratory infections are viral, and there's no efficacy for antibiotics. So they'll give you antibiotics. You'll probably get diarrhea after that because the antibiotics. So you just think adding problem to problem, making things worse. But we're reassuring them, because we know majority of colds are viral. They're going to self-resolve. It just takes some time.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm pretty sure you prefer your job this way.
Yes.
So the thing is, you prefer your job this way. You are more performant, and you like what you do. So you're gonna take care even more of your patients. So it's like a virtuous circle.
Yeah.
So I think it's something in every industry and for every entrepreneur. Then when you love what you do because you have time to do it, you can afford to have time to do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be better. So it's for every entrepreneur. It's something that works basically. So just maybe think about a rate that can afford you to take more time, to take care more of your clients, and just to enjoy more. Do you think these clients are more in demand of follow-up and communication, and it's just for them, this is a basic service, or you can still surprise them and they can still be like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. How easy is it to reach you, for example?
Yes, they sometimes, again, they may try to push like, hey, I want this or I want that, and again, it's not in accordance with our best medical judgment. So we have to tell them, look, I don't advise this. I don't think this is a good idea, and at some point we'll say, look, I'm not going to prescribe that, or I let's try this alternative therapy. But as long as we communicate well with the patient, let them know that there's a reason behind it. Make sure they understand the reason. Majority of our patients are very reasonable. They just need to be explained. Maybe they had something in their head. They thought about, I really wanted to do this. A simple example. A lot of times patients with the weight loss medications, they want to go to a higher dose very fast, even though they're having side effects. And I'm like, look, this is not a good idea right now. You're having the side effects. That means your body is at the max ability to handle this drug at this time. For us to accelerate this beyond that, you're just going to get more nauseous. You're going to get more constipation. You're going to get all these other problems, and it's just going to amplify. So we have to really encourage them and be there to guide them along the process.
What you're saying, basically, for me, like talking to entrepreneurs, is sometimes saying no makes you an expert, and then you look more credible, and then they trust you, and then long-term relationship, and then they are okay to spend more money with you, and it's just good thing in the end sometimes to say no. So it's actually very interesting because you can do that for every business, just to say like, this is not possible, trust me.
Yeah.
Instead of saying yes to everything, and then it's gonna fail. It's not gonna work anyway. So you're gonna lose credibility in a long-term effect. So that's very interesting, definitely, and applicable to everybody. Do you think these differences between the way we treat wealthy patients and more standard patients is gonna grow in the future? Like, it's gonna be even worse in the future? Or do you think we'll find a way to have like a better client experience even for more, like, say, standard patients?
Of course, I treat all my patients the same, of course, whether they are, VIP or regular guy, just like myself. I'm a regular guy. But of course, when you're able to invest more in your health, you're able to get more services and get more, physician time, then, you will benefit from that. You'll benefit from that. We have some patients that we have certain, packages, like, for example, our TRT package, where they communicate directly with us. Some guys say, you know what, I don't want to do that. I just want my TRT. And I'm like, look, that's not how we work here. We want to be with you every step of the way. You have unlimited follow-ups. You can visit us anytime, because we want to be there with you, make sure everything's okay. With certain medications, you give them these medications. They can have water retention. They can have elevated blood pressure. And these are the things that the patients don't see. They don't have this. They don't have the expertise. They think, I'm just going to take it, and it's just like any other medication. You just pop a pill or give yourself a little shot, and then you just go about your day. And that's not that's not how we operate. And for those patients that want, just there are many other providers they can go to, but we're providing a ultra high level service where the focus is just on the patient and making sure that they get the most out of their health experience with us.
But you worked basically in both industries, like in two different kind of clienteles, which is very interesting because you can compare. So do you think in the future this difference between each market is going to grow, or in the standard industry it's very complicated to be different and to attract more people, so they will have to improve their client experience as well? Or do you think they just don't care? The goal is to be the cheapest at all price.
Whenever it comes to competition, there's always going to be someone cheaper. There's always going to be someone cheaper, and it's a race to the bottom. And there's no winning. The only people that the only people that win are the shareholders of those those big corporate clinics or whatever. The patient's going to suffer. You cannot, and you really do get what you pay for. So if you're going to spend, I don't know, 100 dirhams on a visit, and it's like 10 minutes, like, come on, man. I can't, unless it's something super simple, like, hey, I need my refill on my blood pressure medication. Sure, no problem. But if you work with us, we can find out maybe what the root cause of the blood pressure is. We'll put you on an exercise protocol. We'll fix your diet. We'll get you some weight off. We'll do some weight loss. And then boom, a lot of times the blood pressure goes away. So you won't need that blood pressure medication. So it's the approach you want to take. This is all an investment in yourself, the most important person in your life. It's in your health.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that what you said, that it's a race. It's a race to go lower. I think it's in every industry. So this pyramid, like you have all the luxury at the top and like low cost, let's say, at the bottom. Yeah. And we keep saying with some friends in my industry that in the middle, it's going to be empty soon. Like everybody is going to go or super low or super up. Yeah. But the middle class won't exist pretty soon, like in a few decades. I think it's the same for every industry. Basically, you will have more and more people looking for the price, like the lowest price possible. And then the rest of the population educating themselves about how to deal with money, how to invest and all these things. And it's going to be the top of the pyramid. But the middle class, we have more taxes, like everything is more and more expensive. And even for people who were like comfortable before, just in the middle, but now they are all looking
squeezed,
for... Yeah. So do you feel it's the same in the
100%.
health industry? Like there is a gap between the...
Yes, of course, with the rising costs of living and rising expenses, and now there's something called lifestyle creep. So even if you're making more money, now you're spending more. You're going to get that nicer car, the nicer apartment, the nicer luxury goods, consumer goods, and before you know, you're back to where you were. Oh, I don't have enough money. So, and then of course, what's the first thing people sacrifice on is their health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people take it's human nature. We take our health for granted. But when you have, like I said, when you have that crisis that shocks you to your core, God forbid, heart attack, a cancer diagnosis, a trauma that is life-changing trauma or life-changing medical illness, you realize all that doesn't mean anything. All the other stuff doesn't mean anything. Your health is the most important thing.
So do you think for entrepreneurs in general, it could be smart to choose your camp? Basically, like in my industry, for example, we have a lot of people in the middle class kind of markets, but this is so competitive, and so the only way to be different could be the price. So everybody is gonna try to be the lowest, and then as we said, this market could disappear soon. So you're gonna fight with the lowest people, with lowest prices. So maybe just choose your camp. Like if you want to work in the low cost industry, it's completely okay. You have to adjust your strategy and you work with a lot of people, or to go like with a highest market and just highest pricing. And just and is it the same in the health industry? Like you have to think like it's everything or nothing, or you have something in between?
No, I wouldn't say, the different industries operate differently, obviously. But, we are competing. We have some patients, they come in, they'll be a little bit price sensitive and like, that's, what are you, that's such a, they may have a complaint about the price. And I say, you're more than welcome. There's many other options I can refer you to, but I promise you won't get the level of service here. For some people, they want that level of service. They want to be taken care of. They want to be able to say, hey, I got my doctor. I can call my doctor right now. All right. Other people, they say, look, I would like to have it, but I can't afford it, or it's not within my budget, so I'm gonna go for the lower price point. So it's all about what you value.
It's very interesting because you said something is like when someone said it's too expensive, for two reasons. Like first, I don't want to invest in it because I don't value it, or I just cannot afford it. You don't do any discount. You don't just like, I'm very sorry, totally understand. Just feel free to go next door and you'll find someone cheaper. So it's something like for entrepreneurs, because I'm talking to entrepreneurs, to say like, when you face someone who cannot afford or just don't want to pay that amount of money for your services, just be strong. Just it's completely okay, totally understand, feel free to go somewhere else, but you will find clients that will value your services. You definitely have the clients that value
Absolutely. As we mentioned, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, they don't offer discounts. The price is the price, and you will get what you buy. Exactly. So yes, and of course, because as with, again, this is human psychology. If you offer a discount one time, they're going to expect it all the time, and it's just a continuing race to the bottom again. So and then I heard more. I heard someone else was offering this discount. No. And then it's also disrespectful because you have a professional's time there, and it's something that is affecting your health for the long term. So every day you feel good is because I have developed that plan that is optimizing your well-being, optimizing your mental and physical health.
And
there's no price to
that. I think in the Middle East, we know that discount, best price, it's something that come on the table a lot. They are used to negotiate for everything, and even for health, maybe.
Sometimes we do get it, and sometimes we do get it. And I can somewhat understand that when it comes to certain, like we have an aesthetics department, a very, very strong aesthetics department, some of the best experts in injectables and lasers. And of course they have to compete. And our prices are competitive for the region when it comes to, aesthetic medicine, the injectables, like the Botox fillers, things like that. But for, our services, my services for the men's health, for wellness, we don't offer any discounts just because it's the level of work and expertise that's involved, expertise that you cannot find it. And I tell my parents, please, if you find someone that can offer what I'm offering you, please let me know so I can thank them. So I can say that's amazing what you're doing. Until then, they have not identified one person.
But even for health, they keep trying to negotiate sometimes? Or it's just like health
Sometimes, but I say, look, this is the price, and I always say, look, if you have insurance, we can try using your insurance. Maybe I can't promise it, but we can try. So insurance is great. You get some sort of that's a good discount right there. It's your insurance.
Yeah.
So if it covers it, yeah. So the question is if it covers it.
But you keep talking about money is not taboo, like something you put on the table and okay.
It's a business. It's a business, yeah. And they may ask about it. And I say, look, even in the first visit, if we, quickly we talk and in the first 15 minutes they say the price is too much, I say no problem. This was just a free quick chat. No problem. We won't charge you, and I will gladly assist them in finding somewhere else.
But we were talking about negotiating, and this is something very, like in the Middle East, very typical. Do you have to adjust, your way of working to cultures, to privacy things, or you have like the same service for all of them? I guess you adjust, definitely, but like...
For the prices?
Not the prices, but in general, the client experience mainly. Like some people, depending on their culture, they would need more communication, they would need more to feel you're there. Some people, like very busy entrepreneurs, they just don't have time, and it's just like straight to the point.
Yeah, the busy ones. Yeah. My entrepreneurs or business people, they will text me and be like, "Hey, I'm coming in today." I'm like, "All right, here we go. Let's get you in." All right, or like I'm flying in from Japan. I'm flying in from London.
No, never.
Yeah, exactly. Can I come in? No problem. Here's your point, and they're paying for that. So they're paying for that flexibility, because they're like, look, some of them are very rigid. They have a lot going on, and they like, I got my entire month planned out. But for certain things like this, even those people are so busy they can't fit in their doctor visit. So they'll just say, "Hey, when I need it, I'm going to come see you," and they're paying for that. So we're here to cater to them, take care of them, and make sure that they're assisted within their schedule.
Because you can't.
Because exactly. Yeah. But, and I tell some of the patients, they say, "Oh, well, I just want to go to my, a doctor that's within my network and gets covered by my insurance." I say, "Sure, go ahead, try, find a doctor that's willing to understand your needs and prescribe you certain medications that they may not see the value in it for you, or they don't have the expertise." I've been to doctors myself to get on certain therapies, and they said, "Look, I don't prescribe that."
Did you realize that sometimes what is discounted is not the good word, but is usually, less valued? Like, for example, in France, we have a lot of help from the government. Like, if you want to learn a new diploma, if you want to learn something new, if you want to change your career, it's very helped a lot, money-wise. And as a photographer, sometimes I had many people asking me like, "Oh, I would love you to do a workshop," or things like that. And if it's refunded by the help, it would be even better. It's actually the opposite of what I would do. It's just, if you want to have a workshop with me, I want you to value it, and I want you to go back home and to apply everything and to do it because you spend a lot of money. And I think it's the same in many industries. Like, if it's refunded, discounted, or like in health insurance, take care. It's not the same value. Like, sometimes you have to spend money a lot to understand the value of it and to use it in the best way.
Yeah, I think there was there was some sort of a psychological experiment they did, and they found that people, when they pay for something, they value it more than when they get it for free.
Exactly.
So and it's just human nature. You don't you when you witness the exchange of a monetary unit for something, you say, okay, that now has value.
It's the same for everything.
If
like
I told you this,
when you buy, you talked about bags. It's the same. Like, you're gonna pay a fortune, but when you think about just the material, it costs nothing. It's just like you pay for a brand or a name, and this has value because you paid a lot.
Yeah.
But if you would have had the same like fake bags or fake shoes or whatever, basically looks the same, but you pay nothing. And it's just like, okay, it's not the material, it's not a real one, whatever, but it's just you pay nothing, so it doesn't have the same value. Right.
And then you will, you will find it, replaceable, and like, oh, I can just get rid of it. I can get a new one. But when you have like, for example, we're talking about the authentic bag, you see the stitching. You will subconsciously create a narrative for yourself. Yeah. The stitching was put in place by some artisan craftsman, and it's hand stitched.
You imagine the old story. Yeah. Definitely, it's the same in my industry. Actually, like, I feel that as an artist, they are more willing to trust me, to not discuss the choice of pictures or not trying to have an impact of my pictures after the wedding, like, oh, can we have this one edited or retouched or whatever. They respect more my work because I'm not the cheapest. And I think in my industry particularly, maybe it's more complicated now to be in this middle class kind of clientele, because these people are educated about pictures by Instagram and they know what they want. And when they hire someone cheaper than others, they would be more willing to ask for modifications, for specific editings. But when you hire someone that costs a certain price, you are just respecting the artist. So and at the end of the day, it's just pictures. So it's interesting, this psychology process of thinking, like, if I pay more, I value more. And it's, it's very interesting. One last question.
Sure.
If you would have to share one piece of advice with entrepreneurs today about like dealing with these specific clients or whatever you would think would be interesting, just let me know.
Yeah, it's one of those big questions, like, tell me about yourself.
No, but it could be like just for you to have some inspiration, maybe. Like, it could be about that saying no, as you said, like saying no sometimes help you to look your expertise and more credible and all these things. Or it could be like, even if you are facing people who are used to have an answer like yes to whatever they want, being transparent and communication is the key, because at the beginning you say, like, I may not be able to fix your problem, but this is what I'm selling, my expertise. So transparency or saying no could be a good
I think the biggest thing for entrepreneurs is to, of course, they're passionate about what they do, but to really ask themselves, do I love what I do? Am I passionate? And to show that in their work, to be passionate, because if I'm, some days I'm in the clinic 8, 9 p.m. And I'm happy there. I like taking care of my patients. I like seeing them get better. I love the text when they say, look, I had a patient just start, testosterone, and he'd been down for so long. And he said, this is the first time in years I remember laughing with my wife and kids and having fun with them. And he messaged me that. So to hear my patients say that brings so much joy to me. And when you give them good energy, give them good work, you'll see the results. You see the fruits of your labor. And always keep learning. Never think you know everything. Always be afraid of that guy in the room that says he knows everything, because he's the most dangerous person in there. So always, be doubtful and always try to keep learning, and keep asking questions. I think that's so important. The Japanese have a good philosophy. It's a kaizen, which means continuous improvement. So I think that's it. That especially in medicine, we have to always keep learning, always keep growing. So that we stay up to date. We're up to date on the new research, on the new literature, so that we can take care of our patients as best as possible.
These two things so interesting. Like, being passionate, it makes a big difference. Like, you
100%.
Cannot work like crazy if you don't love what you do.
Yeah.
My industry, for example, is traveling all the time, like sacrificing all my weekends. Don't have a social life, but I love so much what I do that I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So if you cannot have this life if you don't love what you do. Exactly. And learning every single day. It's something, I think, I don't know if you feel it, and we're going to end on that, but there is kind of a curve. Means, like, at the beginning, you accept the fact that you don't know everything. And then you reach a point where you think you know everything. And then something happened, then you realize you don't know everything. And then you understand that you will never know everything.
Yes.
And you'll keep learning all the time. So we all follow the same curve. Then just and then you get 40. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, and God knows it was an adventure to bring you here.
Thank you so much.
But we did it, so thank you very much. It was amazing.